Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got another new project today, and it's kind of an exciting one. We're starting to load for 450 Bushmaster. Now, I am here several days after we've already done this project, and that's because there's some things that I forgot to mention while recording this video and things that I wanted to bring up in addition to what we covered in the video before we started. Now, this video is filmed with a real good friend of mine who just bought a rifle in 450 Bushmaster and wanted to come up with some economical, effective hand loads for the rifle. Now, he's never hand loaded before, so this is a completely new experience for him. I am not a great teacher, especially in person. I've gotten kind of used to teaching, sort of teaching, through a camera, but when it comes to teaching in person, there are some things that I definitely need to work on. Now, in this video, there are several times where the audio is not what it could be, and you may not be able to hear what's said quite as well as I would like to. There are also some times that I didn't complete my sentence, letting him complete the thought kind of in that type of teaching tactic, but a lot of that didn't pick up very well on the microphone. When we do this again in the future and when we continue this project, because we will be continuing it, there are a few things that I'll do to definitely get better audio, probably miking up both of us and attaching that, but anyway, that's in the weeds. A few things I didn't mention for this video are the load data. Now, I do say at the beginning of this video that you'll see in just a second here that we're using both Winchester 296 and Hodgdon Lil Gun. Because of time constraints and other things we wanted to do, we only ended up loading using the Winchester 296. We will probably be trying the Lil Gun at some point, but that will not be in this video. The other thing is load data. So, with the Winchester 296, we started at a low of 38 grains, which is actually only 0.8 under Hornady's listed max, and went up to 40 grains, which is 1.2 grains over Hornady's listed max. And that's a little crazy because, as we'll talk about at the end of the video, we didn't hit anywhere near the velocities that Hornady said we would, even though we used a higher powder charge. Again, we're going to talk about that more at the end of the video and a few other things that I have learned since then. So, without further ado, please join along with us and see if this little bit different format is useful at all to you guys. Today we're starting a new project in 450 Bushmaster, where we will be loading up with Starline new brass. See, it's nice and shiny there. The brass does have a little bit of a rebated boat tail, so you can see there, which is a little different. That's something I've never loaded with before. Primers are Winchester small rifle using Hodgdon Lil Gun, and Winchester 296 is going to be our main powder. We're going to try, but also going to load up a test with Lil Gun just to see how it does. I've heard some things about Lil Gun acting crazy in low temperatures. Now, where I live here, temperatures don't dip much below 30 degrees very often, so I'm not too worried about that, but I kind of do want to see what it'll do. It will be about 40 degrees when we go out to the range today, so that'll give us a good idea of how it does. There is one slightly different thing we're going to be doing today, and I have got a friend of mine with me here today, and he's never done any reloading before. So he's going to actually do the loading today, and I'm going to walk him through it. Just going to leave the camera sitting here running, and I will chop it up and edit it later. But that might give a little bit different perspective than we normally have. So we're going to get to loading. This priming tool has two different shell plates, and it uses, let's see, so this one is for the Hornady shell holders, which is the part that actually slips into.
All right.
And this one, it has a little bit different opening, so it fits better into those. All right, so just load it up and go for it, I guess.
So you basically just throw these.
Yes, and they should be flipped the right direction. So if you take and pull that whole tray out,
All right. Mm-hmm.
and then flip this thing over and kind of set that on and flip it over, you should get all of them in there.
So like so.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then you can just flip the one or two. And actually, they're all right. Yeah. That thing actually will, if you shake it back and forth, it'll flip the primers over for you.
Oh, that's nifty.
Just because of those ridges and how they're weighted.
Gotcha.
But yeah, if there's just one and you've got 100 on there, it's usually easier to do that. Yeah, now just move them out of the center a little bit.
Okay.
Just because of how this cover sits.
Gotcha.
And then, and actually they have to be away from there too. Whoops. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Then this thing just sits on and twist locks. Yeah, and that'll keep them from spilling.
I was wondering.
Yep. And there's a little bar right there that keeps them from sliding out that side.
Perfect.
So now you can just tip it so that they feed. Yep, and they'll fall down that chute under.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And then you can just squeeze the lever and you'll feel it stop when the primer gets all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
Just feel it go in.
I think
Yeah,
so.
there it went.
Yeah.
Okay.
That look right?
No, so that's not in far enough.
Okay.
Now, make sure that there's not another primer on there. So squeeze it part way. Okay, yeah, there's not a primer on. Okay, so yeah, just squeeze until you'll feel it hit the bottom of that primer pocket.
Okay. I think.
Yeah, that got it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's actually perfect. So it's just below the surface.
Okay.
You actually could go just a little lighter on there, but that's okay. I hate this tool. It's a pain. Yep.
Okay. All right. Forearm workout to activate it.
And I know you don't want to look down the shell, just in case the primer were
Just
to
in case
explode.
it goes off. Right?
Yeah, it'd smack you right in the face.
Well, you know.
That new brass has some tight pockets. Oh, I got caught there. You might have to pop the...
Oh, well, let's turn that real quick. Well.
Alright. Let's see if I can figure it out. So I'm going to tip it this way and then turn it to lock it off so that no more primers get down there.
Gotcha.
And we're going to see what's going on here. See it down in there?
Mm-hmm.
There's one caught sideways. That's one of the reasons I hate this tool. Yeah, it's actually trying to cut that primer in half.
Oh.
Yeah. You'll get a feel for it. Oh, there it popped out. That's all right. We got plenty of those. You'll get a feel for how it's supposed to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I normally have it flipped around this way so I can use my fingers, but it should. If it feels like a hard stop, you know something's wrong.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you do it this way, you should feel kind of even pressure until it gets to the bottom, and then yeah, that's about what you want.
Okay.
It's a weird thing to get a feel for, and kind of nerve-wracking too, because you know that I've never had one explode, but I should be ready for the next one. Yep. The one thing you just want to make sure not to do is get two primers back to back, because then they're trying to squish into each other, and that can create a lot of problems. And it doesn't matter as much in a bolt gun like this, but if the primer's sticking out, which none of these are, but if the primer's sticking out, it can actually catch when it's feeding and set the round off before it's in the chamber, which is obviously a very bad thing.
Yeah, it'll be a fun day.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. Okay, so because it's a straight walled case, we may or may not have to expand the mouth to get the bullet in. So if those will sit in the mouth of the case right as they are, or if we're going to need to flare them out a little bit. I'm thinking we're going to need to flare them. Let me see one of those for a second. We could probably make it work, but I think giving them just a little bit of a flare would probably be better. That way they seat like they should. So, there is a flaring die in that set. Get all this out of the way. Should be in there. Is oh, it's not blue. This set has all the setup that you would need as far as the dies go to go on that progressive press and load progressive. Now it doesn't have the shell plate or any of those parts, but this die right here, yeah, so it's got a little thing up in there that will slip into the mouth and just flare it out a little bit. This particular die also has a funnel. Let's see if, oh yeah, that'll pop out. And yeah, so it just opens it up just a little bit. And it's got this funnel for a powder measure to hook up to. So we actually could, yeah, we'll do it separate. Just for, we could hook up the either this powder measure or one of the others to this die and expand it, throw the powder charge, and then we'd have two steps done at once.
Yeah.
But where'd I put that? No, it's in here. This particular press takes these bushings. Most of my dies have the bushings locked on there, but I don't have a full set. So if we were reloading, we'd have to size the cases first. They'd go up into this die, which would punch out the primer and resize the case down all at once.
Gotcha.
And I think, even though they're straight, I think they would probably have to be lubed up to not get stuck. So you put a little bit of this or a different sort of wax on there. Because when they get stuck in there, it'll actually rip off the back of this rim trying to pull it down out, and then you ruin everything. And it's a pain to get out of there.
Yeah.
Hold it in place. Oh, and it actually has a shell holder in there too. This is the same. This case is actually set up to take the same shell holder as 308 because it's got the same head size.
Gotcha.
Which makes it easy for gun manufacturers
To
because the bolt's the same size.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So you basically just screw this into there?
just start to. What I would do is screw it in just a little bit and put the case in and raise it all the way up and then screw the die down until it touches.
Okay.
So you know where your starting point is. Yeah.
Alright. And then screw it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Just keep screwing it down until you pretty much can't go anymore. Okay. Now back the ram off and take it like a half a turn. Okay. Now run it up and back down. And pull it out and see if that'll fit a bullet.
Not quite.
Not quite. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I really don't see much
Yeah, I didn't.
on there. Yeah, go ahead and try another half turn. That sounded like it did something. Maybe just barely.
Maybe just touched it. Yeah.
I wonder, because that shape had a, kind of a straight section. I wonder if we're going to have to get past that straight section before it actually does much expanding. Let's see.
I think we're almost there.
And if you were to go too far, we've got 300 more of these cases. So.
Wasn't this just the tedious process?
Yeah. Not quite.
Yep.
I bet we are going to have to get past that straight section before it gets to that where it had that little more taper to it.
Yeah. Looks like I've got a little bit more resistance there. Not quite.
Will it sit? Let's see. Oh, that's... Yeah, you're right. It hasn't really done much at all yet.
Almost there.
Before I load bottleneck cases, I usually run this through it. And just chamfer off that mouth a little bit. That'll help us, but we're still not there yet. Yeah, I can just barely see a bell starting there, and actually that's perfect. That's right. That's right where you want it.
Gotcha.
So now you can hold on to the die and tighten down that lock ring.
So here.
Yeah. You're actually almost there already.
Yeah, I got
That's
preceded.
perfect. And then this whole thing, well, I guess everything Lee makes is kind of chintzy.
Yeah.
So there's this little plastic. Oh, yeah, that's pretty decent. But this whole thing is quick change now.
Oh, okay.
Which is why it's nice to have.
Have it all set.
Yeah. All right. Try another case that we haven't done yet. That worked pretty decent. You might take like one or two, just a couple of twists with that thing on each piece. Because this brass is brand new. It hasn't had anything done to it. You don't have to put any pressure. Just, yep. Just a quick cleanup.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's good. Yeah, so now you just do that to every piece.
Gotcha.
And if I had
Is it okay to do this part before?
Yep.
Okay.
And you can run. I don't think these really need it because there's no burr on the outside. But if there were, you just flip it over, and this would catch the outside too.
All right.
up on the... when I was... No, actually, that's perfect. We probably will have to crimp it just to take out that flare, but it won't be much. So that's just to where it can sit on the case there without... That'll be perfect, actually. I only have one tray that will hold these.
Hold back nowhere.
Was that a little sticky coming out?
Yeah. It caught up just a little bit.
I wonder... There's a couple different ways we can do the powder measuring. I try to only have one powder on the bench at a time so that you don't get confused. Because if the charge weights, especially if the charge weights are a lot different, if you think you're measuring one and you're measuring another, you could blow stuff up and that's it. So what we could do is load this thing up and get a charge that's close to our lowest one and then trickle up from there with those little things. Or this scoop should actually be pretty close. Yeah, let's do the scoop thing.
Alright.
I think it'll end up being quicker. When we actually go to load up a bunch of rounds, we'll use this because we'll just dial it in to the exact charge that we want, and then you don't even have to weigh them. You just throw them with this lever, and it's a lot quicker.
Gotcha.
All right, you want to get that bowl and kind of wipe it out. Yeah, that's probably good. And then just dump some of that powder in and see how much powder that scoop throws. We may have to jump down to a smaller scoop. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, alright. 2.2 cc's. Just a full scoop?
Yeah, just see how much that gives.
Okay. Do you want on here?
Yeah. Alright, so that was a ways below the rim and got you 32. Try a level full.
Yeah, alright.
Scoop. Oh, must be a little humidity on it.
Or I'm static, one of the two.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. Those new scoops, when they always stick. So that's 35.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try something here. I'm going to try a heaping scoop. I'm going to try not to take the powder scoop over these because it could get
Some extra
grains. Powder into there. Yeah, and then you don't know how much you have. Yeah, that's 35. Let's actually go up a size. And my other scoops should already be used, so they won't be as staticky. That was a 2.2. Let's try a 2.5.
Alright.
Now's when you get to feel like a drug dealer. That's 40.
Mm-hmm.
So that is exactly what our top charge is.
Okay.
So what we'll do is have... Let's see what... Just a little bit under level, or under full. That's perfect. That's 37.2. So the trick is to... This thing takes a while to prime. Should be plenty. So twist that until that says 38. Until the scale says 38. It takes it takes quite a while to get it to get powder all the way through the tubes. You'll have to probably twist it for a while. Perfect.
Oh.
I try to slow down right at the end. I should be able to take just a hair out. tenth of a grain is such a small...
I was going to say, so...
Try going back up from there. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay. And then I just take the funnel and... Ooh, that's a... Might need a bigger funnel. Probably have to actually hold it and then dump it in.
Alright.
Yeah. We'll just have to remember that the lowest charge is on that end. Going higher this way.
You won't go
It doesn't matter, whichever way you want.
Okay.
Yep. You can give it a couple hard taps if there's still powder in there.
Okay.
Alright, perfect. So we'll do 4 more charges of the same powder weight. There's definitely still room in that case if we wanted to, but it's almost like sugar coated around the neck where that lube is.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't care for so much. Oh, sorry, I just take a little out. Oh yeah, perfect. You can trickle it from there. Alright. Yeah, I wonder if I should have wiped the lube off those necks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've been wondering, like, you know, taking this thing out hunting, how loud it's going to be. It's like, do I need to put some headphones, earplugs in first?
With that muzzle brake, I bet you probably will. Okay.
All right.
So now, getting the seating die set up. You're pretty much going to do it the same way as the other one. So the one with the double knurled cap on the top should be the seating die.
This one?
Yep.
All right.
I think, actually I should look at the lee directions. Some seating dies have a little bit of a crimp built in. I don't like to use that crimp. Let me see. They come shipped with grease straight from the factory so that they don't... some kind of... Oh yeah, there's metal shavings in there or something.
Mm-hmm.
This die does not crimp, so we don't have to... Okay, cool. And blow that out with some brake cleaner. So that actually has directions on how to set up all the dies, and most dies come with directions.
Mm.
So it's... But they're all a little bit different. This one just says, screw the die in until it touches the shell holder and finger tighten the lock ring. And then you just control the bullet seating depth with the that adjustment screw on top. So that's pretty simple.
Yeah. Do I need to put that sucker in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And
I need to buy, it should go about a quarter turn or something before it stops.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
I'm going to turn this off for now.
And we start screwing it in?
Yeah, raise that ram all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
And then just screw it down until it touches. The directions say... I might have to back out that lock ring. The directions say to go an extra quarter turn, but this press has a weird cam over on it, which is actually probably the reason I'll get a different press at some point. So it'll get to there, and then it'll cam over just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This actually... without anything in there, whoops, I'll pop this whole thing out. I don't know if you can see, so it'll get to the top, and then actually go back down just slightly.
Yeah.
Right there.
Uh-huh.
That's probably why I'll get rid of this press eventually and get something better, but no, that should be good. So that's back pretty much all the way out. So now just stick your first cartridge in. And you want to be careful, just kind of guide that bullet up in there just to make sure it doesn't flip to the side. Okay? So now, just take that top screw and tighten it down until it touches the bullet.
Okay.
Okay? Drop the ram a little bit and go like 2 turns down. Yeah, start with that.
Yeah.
And then seat it and pull it out and see where that gets you on. Yeah, you still got a long ways to go. Yeah, give that a try. Okay, I'm sure that's not where we're wanting to go, but go ahead and we'll measure it just for... so you're measuring the total overall length of the case. And we're looking for 2.06 inches. So I'm guessing it's going to end up somewhere near that cantilever when we're done. Man, that's a good looking cartridge.
No. 2.06, right?
Yeah, 2.060 is what we're looking for. Close.
Yes.
So just a couple small adjustments and you should be there. For the Hornady dies, I've got a micrometer seating stem. So when you know how far you have to go, all you have to do is dial it in on there. I'd go just a little bit more, and then I'd seat another one, because these bullets, since they've got different, every tip is going to be just a little bit different.
Okay.
So you're just going to get it kind of close.
Seat a different one then?
See,
or you want?
You made an adjustment, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and run that through one time and just make sure it's not too short, which I don't think it will be. And then run another one up in. Okay, so 4 thousandths long. So seat the next one, and see where that gets you. You may be at where you want to be.
So now we're
2.065. So that's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'd just go make an adjustment and then seat the first one again. That's
61?
Yeah. Yep. 2.061. You're gonna be perfect. Perfect. 2.060. All right, I think you got your setting.
Perfect.
Now it's just a matter of running them all through. I'll measure a couple more just to make sure that they're... That just looks so cool. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
2.060. They're actually more the bullets are more consistent than I thought they would be. That's perfect.
Wonderful.
Can't ask for any better than that. All right. I'll just seat the rest of the bullets, and then I guess we'll be back to powder weighing. I just want to put the tiniest amount of crimp on these. So I'll start it. The shell holder actually presses against this and pushes up, and that's what squeezes it all down.
Okay.
So I'm just going to barely slide it in there.
I think you're onto your walk nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are correct.
There you go.
Okay, that's actually touching. Okay, I'm going to go just barely. That didn't do anything yet. That might have been just... Oh, we can measure. Let's see if it's doing anything. .480, and this one is 0.477. So we crimped it by 0.003. Let's go maybe just a little bit more. Make sure I'm not putting too much. I actually really like this because it's squeezing the whole case and not just the mouth. So it's not going to put, probably not going to put too much on just the mouth itself. 0.477, same spot. Okay, this is still... Oh, it is putting a little extra. See that ridge?
Mm-hmm.
There must be a little bit of a ridge in there. And I definitely don't want too much. Oh, that's down to 0.473. Does that one have it too?
No, it doesn't have a terrible ridge on this one.
There's a little bit of one is fine, but I just want to make sure that that it doesn't go down in the groove very much. I'm going to back it out. Just the... No, that wasn't locked in. I'm going to back it out just a little bit. Make sure I stay all in this first row. Since this is the lowest charge, if there is one that's not the same, it shouldn't matter that much. That's better. Okay, let's see if it... Look down from the top there when I raise it up. You can actually see it fold in just a little bit. But okay, I think we're good on our setting. Okay. We've got that whole row done now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a notion to grab your gun and make sure that they feed.
Okay. Yeah.
If we
Not
need
a bad
to crimp,
idea.
if we need to crimp just a tad more, we can.
Yep.
That's a 3-round magazine, right?
Yes. That's the only downside to it.
Well, I think that even in ARs, the biggest mag I've seen was 5 rounds.
Yep.
They pop up.
There we go. Yep. Sounds good. That one was even better. Cut that one.
Bolt's not closing too hard.
No, it's not terrible.
Just like you'd expect from a new bolt.
Mm-hmm.
So let the camera go and it was pointed at the ceiling. That doesn't do much good. That's all right.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll just run through and crimp the rest of these. Do the next set exactly the same as these, except with a different powder, and then we'll get out to the range. All right. Go for it.
We're going to do the test rounds now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start with the lowest. Go for the upper left-hand target, and we'll just work our way down.
All right.
So we're out on the range now with the 450 Bushmaster. This is a Ruger American. It does only have a 3-round magazine, so in our 5-shot groups, we will have to reload the magazine once. On top of it, I've got my Vortex Diamondback Tactical that is normally on my 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a little too much scope for this setup, but it's what we've got for now, so we're going to make it work. We'll see if we can get some velocities on this, see what kind of groups we can print, and we're going to try to do it decently quickly, because we're going to try to get out to the woods and hunt some deer with it right after this.
That was high and to the right.
Don't try to adjust or anything for it.
Okay.
Just hold the same spot.
Gotcha. No.
I was having good luck. Yeah. Kind of a hard forward and down. I think it's having trouble clipping over that rim right away.
They were all over the place.
It's alright. Oh, I do notice you're walking back further and further on the rest.
Okay.
I don't think that probably has a whole lot to do with it, but it might.
That's closer.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That barrel's a little warm. Suppose we'll give it a second to cool down for the next group.
There's only 2 on the actual target.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at them. Yeah, it's not pretty.
Oh, it could be worse. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, with a standard deviation of 112, you can't really expect. Ugh. When I was shooting, could you see the fireballs coming off of it?
Yes. That one's looking better.
Hopefully.
Spoke too soon. Well.
It's very possibly not your shooting, but the load.
Alright, bottom left. I was getting better.
Absolutely no signs of pressure on the brass. So when you start getting to a high pressure, see how everything's super round on the primers right now?
Mm-hmm.
It'll start flattening out, and you'll get marks from the ejector on the head, but it's not doing any of that yet. So it's just fine. How's the group?
It was better. I had 2 basically in the center, 2 high and 1 way off. So, I don't know if it's actually my trigger pull or what.
Yeah, most of that group was really good.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Oh, no. You're still, all 5 of them are still about like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad.
That's not, I was thinking that one from the first group was in there, too. That's like 6 inches higher, but it's not.
Oh, no.
No, that's getting better. Significantly better.
You want to fire that round off and see, or was that going to mess with the dictation of it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The chronograph numbers is the main thing we're trying to get straight.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If the bullet doesn't shoot super accurately, we may have to find a different bullet, which would stink because we got 300 of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, if it doesn't shoot well for you, it's not going to shoot good for me.
Right. Well, we can test that theory
I suppose that's true.
right along with this one. The others.
But I'm hoping we get these 2 top charges, regardless of the shooter. We get good groups.
Yeah.
Good as in, hopefully 2.5 inches or less. But I don't know. I guess I'll shoot for that center target.
Okay.
I was kind of letting it free recoil a little bit. Oh,
You're not changing.
something didn't feel quite right. I can feel we're closing in on the right load, because 4 of those shots went into 2 inches, and then 1 shot was 2 more inches that way.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're getting there, just not there yet. Hell, the extreme spread was 131 feet per second again, and it's not that cold out, and the barrel's not that hot, so I don't think that's a factor. Could be we need to try a different powder, but guess we'll shoot this last group and find out. Every one of those shots that we put on the paper would have killed the deer at 100 yards, so it's not that big of a deal, I guess.
Right. It's just a matter of tightening it up so we don't ruin a front shoulder.
Fingers crossed this last one will be the best of them all. That's how you hope for it to work out. The fastest one is the most accurate. All right, so we are back from the range, and of course I'm filming this at the same time as the beginning of the video. It's been a couple of days since we shot those groups, and you can see what they are. I'll put a picture of the target back up on the screen. Nothing spectacular for groups at all. 4 shots into maybe 2 inches was the best we got, and the 5th shot always opened it up. Probably closer to 2.5 to 3 inches on those groups. We actually didn't measure them, and I don't have the target here with me to tell you. But yeah, nothing good on the groups, and I think I know why. Let's go over the velocity data just a little bit here. The lowest standard deviation we had for any of the 5 groups was 51 feet per second. That's not the extreme spread. The extreme spread was in the 130s for those groups. That's crazy. That's probably not even safe. Now, at these super low pressures, and again, we'll get to that in a second, we didn't have any problems, and I don't think we're going to at these charge weights. You'll remember back earlier in the video when I first panned the camera over to the cartridge with the weighed powder charge in it. The case fill doesn't seem quite right to me. It doesn't seem right at all. And we're seating these bullets, you know, they're pretty stubby bullets, and we're seating them just to the cannelure. So the bullet is not taking up a lot of that case, and I think there's a lot of airspace in that case. And I don't think it's on the dangerous end of airspace in the case, meaning fire from the primer blowing across the top of the powder and creating a much faster ignition than is intended. I don't think it's doing that. But I do think it's making the velocity spread extremely bad. So let's go down through here. That 38 grains, which, let me grab the Hornady book real quick here. Hornady says that 38.8 grains should get us to 2,200 feet per second out of a 16-inch barrel. And they shot this out of an AR and not a bolt gun, according to their test data. But they shot with the same primers, powder. I think they used Hornady brass and not Starline like we did, but that was the only difference. Same bullet, powder, primer. And they are saying 2,200 feet per second at 38.8 grains. Our closest charge to that was 39 grains, and we got just under 1,900 feet per second. That's 300 feet per second slower than their quoted data. That's huge, especially when we're talking about a 2,000 feet per second-ish case. That's unacceptable, frankly. I don't think it's the temperature either. We were shooting at 45 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not super low. Not super low at all. We shouldn't be getting spreads like that. This is terrible. You can see I'm a little worked up. On that first charge with 38 grains, our extreme spread was 293 feet per second. That's easily the worst I've ever seen loading anything ever. Now, I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I've never loaded a big bore cartridge of any sort. The biggest diameter of cartridge, I guess, that I've ever loaded was 357. With ball powder shooting straight wall, basically Super Magnum pistol type case, we're not going to be expecting the same sort of extreme spreads and standard deviations as a rifle case. Now, when we were doing 300 Blackout, I kind of ran into this too, that our extreme spreads and standard deviations were way out of what we expected. But I think we were still at an extreme spread of somewhere around 100 feet per second, which I thought was crazy then, but this is absolutely nuts. I am 90% sure it's a case fill problem. I did a little bit of research, and by a little bit, I mean I dug through internet forums until my eyes hurt, trying to find data for the 450 Bushmaster. And the truth is, there's just not a lot out there. I did find a guy, probably crazy, and we're not doing this. I did find a guy loading up to like 46 grains of, now he was using H110. From everything I can find, Winchester 296 and H110 are exactly the same thing. And that's why I bought this 4-pound jug of Winchester 296. Anyway, loading up 46 grains of H110 and getting something like 2,700 feet per second out of a, now I think he was shooting a 225 grain bullet. But still, you get the idea. And he wasn't seeing anything more than slightly flattened primers. That's probably not a very good gauge of pressure signs with a case like this, with the, you know, the rebaited rim and the large straight wall case. It's probably not a very reliable identifier of pressure. Only a reliable identifier of bolt thrust, in my opinion. But anyway, again, I'm getting way too far into the weeds here. The point is, we got a lot more work to do on this load. And it's kind of disappointing showing a new reloader how to reload for the first time, and the results we get are absolutely terrible. Our max velocity, I don't think I've talked about this yet, with 40 grains of Winchester 296 got us to 2,053 feet per second. 150 feet per, no. What Hodgdon says with H110 at a max of 40.6 grains is 2,300 feet per second, which would reason about 2,250 at 40 grains. Again, we're getting about 200 feet per second lower than that. What I think we need to do, we're not playing with seating depth at all in this cartridge. We're seating to the cantilever. It's basically, it's a Magnum pistol bullet. We're not playing with seating depth. I don't think that's going to achieve anything for us. What we're going to do, though, is keep adding in powder. And we're going to try the little gun as well, but we're going to start with the Winchester 296, where we're already at, where we already have some data, and work up from there. I'm also going to shoot in a little bit different lighting conditions, a couple of the same rounds, probably at 40 grains over the chronograph, just to double check that it was giving us accurate results, and I have no reason to believe it wasn't. This is getting really long-winded, and I do apologize for that. But what I'm getting at is we're going to keep throwing more powder in this case. The next test we're going to do, we're not going to shoot 5-shot groups. The amount of powder, scarcity of primers, and the cost of the projectiles just prohibits that. It really does. So what we're going to do probably is shoot 1 or 2 shots at a time at charge weight step-ups over the chronograph, see if we can get some numbers on those shots closer together and the velocity more in the range we would expect, maybe even pushing a little bit, maybe hot rodding it, but probably not a whole lot. Probably just trying to hit that 2,300 feet per second mark. We're going to work and see if we see any pressure. I'll talk about that on the video that we do that, and it might be a few weeks because we got to get our schedules in line and everything so that we can do that together. But that's the plan for the next video in 450 Bushmaster. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Kind of a train wreck in the load development department. Hopefully having a first-time reloader on who wasn't me doing the loading gave some amount of interest to the otherwise train wreck of a video. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please jump over to Patreon and check us out. If you already haven't subscribed to my Instagram channel, at the Outdoor Generalist channel, you should. If you want to keep up with things that are going on with the channel, I post a lot of pictures there of stuff that I'm doing, usually shooting or hunting related. Not all of that makes it into a video. In fact, most of it doesn't. So if you want to see some of that stuff, go over there and check it out. Again, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for bearing with the long video, and have a good one.